We are.
What's up? What's up? What's up, family? Hope everyone is doing well in the building. If you can let us know if y'all can hear us, the Mass Media Group is live.
We hear fam. We hear fam.
Once you get in the building, please let us know if you can hear this. It's very important because we got to get the audio on and popping. Yeah, this is our tech check. Microphone check 1 2 1 1 2. Hey fam. Hey Shanna, can y'all hear us? Are we good? If you give us a thumbs up or one or something. All right, well, it's supposed to be starting pretty soon, family. So.
Yeah, I still don't see the stream up on the deal.
Yeah. Wonderful. They can't hear you because you have to speak to the microphone. Do you want the microphone?
Sure.
All right, so Kim's gonna be talking. I got some other stuff to do. What's up, Beatrice? All right, hold on a second.
Hey family, just giving you a quick update here. Waiting for the live stream to come on. 8, 9 o'clock here in California. Science Center and Reparations Task Force hearing is taking place. Second in-person. Thank you for joining us here at the stream come up. They're streaming directly from the webpage, which is oag.gov/streaming. So hopefully that stream will be us. In the meantime, housekeeping my daughter.
We are live and direct. Still getting things set up here, so it's like something's going on. So check it out.
Yo, this you too?
Huh?
This you?
No, that's Friday.
Okay.
Bradford.
Here.
Member Grills.
Girl.
Present. Member Jones Sawyer.
Present.
Member Holder. Member Lewis. Member Montgomery Stepp. And Member Tamaki. Madam Chair, there are 9 task force members, and the number needed for a quorum is 5. The number present is 9. Madam Chair, a quorum has been established.
Thank you, Parliamentarian Johnson. Members of the task force and members of the public, welcome to the California Reparations Task Force 10th hearing and second in-person hearing in Los Angeles, California. From a review of the agenda, you can see that
following timeline.
so to ensure that we complete it during the time allocated, we will need to make sure that the following timeline is established. So the next agenda item on our agenda is
public comment
number
will be from
2, public comment, from 9:05 to 10:05. It's 9:07. So public comment will be from 9:07 to 10:07. 30 minutes will be reserved for in-person public comment, and the last 30 minutes will be reserved for virtual public comment. And Ms. Aisha Martin-Walton will be assisting us in this effort.
Good morning. Good morning, task force members and the public. Welcome to public the 3-minute mark. You may be politely interrupted, and for those who are in person, I also have cards that have their time. At the end of the public comment period, please take your seat, and we will continue. And also know that if you don't have an opportunity to make comments,
public
today,
comment
we will
period,
have public
take your
comments
seat,
again
and
tomorrow
we will
morning.
continue. And
And
also
or
note that
at
if
any
you don't
time,
have an
you can
opportunity
submit
to
your
make
written
comments
comments
today,
to
we will have
Reparations
public
Task Force
comments
at
again tomorrow
ALJ.ca.
morning. And
So
or
why don't
at
we
any
go ahead?
time, you can
Yes,
submit
first
your
speaker,
written
please.
comments to Reparations
Good morning.
Task Force.
I'm Friday Jones. My name is Muhammad. I am the president of the National Assembly of American Slavery. We will be hosting our inaugural Reparations Summit next weekend in Atlanta at the National Center for Civil and Human Rights. Tickets are still available at Eventbrite. I am also the co-chair of the Los Angeles chapter, which is a member of the Coalition for Just and Equitable California. I am also the co-chair of the Los Angeles chapter, which is a member of the Coalition for Just and Equitable California. I am the vice president of Los Angeles's Blue Ribbon Reparations Advisory Commission, as appointed by Mayor Garcetti, and today I'm here speaking as an individual. Reginald Jones Sawyer introduced California AB 2296 Task Force to study and develop reparations proposals for African Americans to the Assembly on February 16, 2022. This commission held public hearings on February 23rd, 24th, March 29th, and 30th, April 13th, and 14th. At no point during these sessions was AB 2296 placed on the agenda before this body or the public at large. The National African American Reparations Commission, of which Dr. Cheryl Grills was appointed in January 2022, issued a letter asking Governor Gavin Newsom to sign AB 2296. And the most striking part of their letter for me was, and I quote, AB 2296 ensures public oversight of the California Reparations Task Force by striking lifetime appointments of the chair and vice chair and allowing for elections of offices and subcommittees. There is little public oversight to protect the task force from issues concerning internal governance, appointments, and structures. I think that's what the Bagley-Keene Act was for. Section 2 of AB 2296 amends Section 8301.2E of the code to now read, an appointee may be removed at the pleasure of their appointing authority. This dramatically changes AB 3121's language, and I believe that NARC, in a letter to Governor Gavin Newsom, identifies the intended targets of this change as Chair Moore and Vice Chair Brown. I do not mince my words. Your actions are unethical. This is your final term as Assembly member for Council District 59 in Los Angeles. The membership of NAASD Los Angeles is here in Los Angeles, and I will utilize every ounce of my influence to ensure that the descendant community with ties to the South that have our ancestors buried in segregated graveyards to have lineage repair in the state of California. Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 shekels of silver with a kiss. I urge this body to ask Gavin Newsom to veto AB 2296 in its current form, the integrity of everyone's.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker.
Chair Moore, Vice Chair Brown, Task Force members. My name is Marcus Champion. I'm a California native, born and raised in Inglewood, currently residing in South Central Los Angeles. I'm a board member for the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California and a founding member of the National Assembly of American Slavery Descendants, Los Angeles, NAASDLA. Today is the beginning of the second phase of this reparations process, and I would like to extend my thanks to the task force for their historic work thus far. I also want to again recognize and celebrate Chair Moore, Vice Chair Brown, and members Bradford, Montgomery, Sept, and Scott Lewis for voting to make the standard of eligibility lineage-based as opposed to race-based. As we move into this proposal phase, I want to implore the task force to maintain the same boldness and see no limits when it comes to crafting the necessary proposals that will lead to transformative justice for the African American descendants of persons enslaved in the United States who reside. I also want to reiterate that among the numerous policy remedies and legislation that must be crafted, that direct cash payments to the eligible recipients be the first priority. Finally, I want to express my vehement opposition to AB 2296. This legislation was not asked for by the public or members of the task force, nor were they even made aware, which speaks to the unethical spirit of the bill. Member Jones made sure he kept AB 2296 in the shadows as much as possible while moving through the California legislature, only making one public comment prior to a couple of weeks ago, and his reasoning was to keep the task force together to educate the public, which makes no sense because your operation would still be restricted by the Bagley-King statute. Under the cover of more darkness, Member Jones Sawyer added an amendment that allows for members to be removed by their appointing body. Allow members, despite philosophical, this process has been excellent, and the only more because he did not get his way when it came to the eligibility vote during the March hearing. If this law is signed by Governor Newsom, John Sawyer is the problematic member who should be removed because we must respect the intent of the author of AB 2296. The rest of the time, continue to work in your future question. Thank you.
Hello, Tess. Oh, there we go. Okay, sir, thank you so much. But before you begin, we have two speakers who need an accommodation who will follow you. Thank you so much. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Sarge Hall. I am a retired combat veteran. I'm the at-large rep for the Mid-City Neighborhood Council, as well as board member for the South Los Angeles Alliance of Neighborhood Councils, and I am a descendant of the Honorable Biddy Mason. I'm sending greetings from Georgia, which is Georgia and Florida, which is my roots, and I want to say that I missed my tea time to come here, and I wasn't really expecting this. But I want to say that I have concerns about Black California. Before we even get to reparations, I believe that we need to have a forum called the State of Black California. With California only being 6.5% African American and the majority of them in Los Angeles, in 20 years, there will only be 2.5% African Americans. And what we left in California, what we cannot do is allow these reparations to serve as an exit strategy. Also, we cannot allow these reparations to be a boost to Governor Gavin Newsom, who is running ads in Florida. When I went to my property in Florida this year, I cut on the TV and I see him basically getting ready to run for presidency. So we cannot let these reparations go without us having a hand up in this situation if Gavin wants to run for president. And you know what I'm talking about, the behind the closed doors conversations. If he passes this, if we get these reparations passed, he can use this as a springboard. And what we cannot do, allow him to use us. With that being said, the money alone is not enough. I'm afraid that if you give checks to folks, the average person is going to go to the liquor store, they're going to go to the weed shop, and we're going to lose equity in our neighborhoods. Follow what I'm saying? Follow what I'm saying. Not everyone. Follow what I'm saying. When you follow what I'm saying, there needs to be some type of community equity-based option if you give a check to where a person can put into a system to help grow our communities. I'm on these boards and I'm riding around. Listen, Black Los Angeles is losing. I know y'all want to sit here and act like it's not happening, but in 20 years, there won't be any Black folks. So this money can serve as a positive or a negative. And I'm praying that it serves as a positive, but there must be parameters put around. And last but not least, in the reparations package, I would like to see some type of satellite historically Black college brought out here to the West Coast. So again, Black California, pay attention. It's only 6.5% of us. We can be easily gentrified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now that I have your attention, I am Emeritus Professor Joyce Faye Allen Hamilton, and my sister, Emeritus Professor Janelle Allen. My sister has been a professor at Compton College for 38.5 years. Because we combined our thoughts, we decided that one of us would speak. And since I'm the baby girl, I was chosen. You know how that is. Is that okay with the task force? I've been waiting for over 30 years to have this conversation about reparation. So I'm very passionate about this. So if you can be with me, be passionate about what I'm saying. We were born and reared in Los Angeles, California. The sisters bring greetings to all task force members, committee members, distinguished guests, and to the audience. I have taught at many colleges and ended my professorship at Los Angeles City College with a combination of teaching for 35 years. My mother always stated, quote, always try to be the best or next to the best or among the best, unquote. She died at the age of 97 last year, July 15, 2021. I received an award for the first Black Teacher of the Year at Los Angeles City College. I want to be an inspiration to you. It is a privilege and an honor to speak before this task force this morning. I want to honor you and applaud you for countless and tireless days, hours, and minutes that you've spent on this task force. This is not an easy job, but you were born to do this. God has chosen you to help create the blueprint for reparation. Reparation is a check owed to Black Americans for the enslavement of ancestors that must not bounce, but must be cashed upon receiving it. This will be marked in the history books as to what you've done for Black Americans. My sister and I want to encourage you to keep working assiduously. Whatever the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. By Professors Joyce and Janelle Allen, what do elderly Black Americans need for the California reparation? As an elderly Black American, my sisters and I, including my husband, his father was a sharecropper. We need our education,
over 10 years, the investment equals 6.3 million.
What we would like
Current
is
living
monetary
wage is
compensation, loan forgiveness for our nieces.
$996.30
And I
in
just
Los
wanted to
Angeles
say
County
this,
for
if
one
you
adult
can,
and one
if you can
child.
think it, you
For
can
me,
do
that
it.
means a
If
single
you can
mother
see it, you can
raising
believe it.
their
If you can
child.
practice
That
it, you
salary
can
does not
improve it.
include
If you can
taxes and
trust
health
it, you can
benefits.
make it.
And the
If you
source
can
for
fix
that
it, you
is the
can
living
solve it.
wage
If you can
calculator for
start
LA
it,
County.
you
Excuse
can
me.
Black
finish it.
I'm so
CBO
sorry to
leaders are
Very,
interrupt
very
you.
much,
innovators and we
everyone.
are
Thank
Perfect.
you. God
risk-takers.
bless you.
We
Thank
respond
you.
with community-led
And I
interventions,
believe our
yet
next
too many
speaker,
of us began as underfunded
the
startups
next
with
young lady,
underemployed
please
staff.
come forward.
Reparations provide the
Continue.
financial investment
Thank you
of our
very much.
business
You may
model
begin.
above and beyond programs and services. The importance of a community listening session is to ensure that more voices like ours are included in the reparations discussion.
for Racial Health Equity.
Eligibility was voted
Our
on,
team is
but that
comprised of
varies upon
24
what you
advisory
heard
members,
in the listening
staff,
session.
and
The
consultants.
task force
Our
has engaged
28-year
economists.
storied mission
CBO leaders
equips
like
a learning
myself can
community of
provide similar
visionaries
or more
with a
relevant expertise.
comprehensive
And
understanding of
finally,
maternal and
bringing
infant
greater
health
awareness to the
throughout the life
community
course
provides
and
input on
responds to the
reparations.
urgent call
My
to
story
support
as a
and
CBO
strengthen
leader
the Black
cannot look
perinatal
backwards
workforce
to
and allies.
1996
I am a member of the
compared to
Black
startup
and I
organizations
participate
that are now multi-million dollar
on
CEOs in the same
2022.
period.
My role
Reparations
as a
can financially
26-year
sustain the
CBO
future
leader
of
brings
Black
forward the need for
leaders
reparations by investment and
and
financial
long-term
stability
in
of
our
nonprofit
communities.
organizations over a 10-year
Thank you.
period.
Thank you for your
We're
comments.
talking about
Speaker,
fiscal
please.
year 2023.
Thank you so much
to
for this
fiscal year
opportunity. My name is
2033.
Zechariah
For
McGee.
example,
I am an activist for reparations for the modern day descendants of American Negro slaves. I had a
5
Facebook
full-time
page of that
professional
same title,
community
and it
staff.
did get shut
The
down.
amount
Okay.
equals to
Currently, I'm touring Los Angeles churches
$628,000,
with a two-part PowerPoint presentation, first
$628,618
entitled
and
the
24
reparations
cents
for the
for
modern
1
day
year.
descendants of American
Over
Negro
10
slaves, and the
years, the
second, the
investment
truth
equals
about the
6.3
American
billion.
Negro.
The
Now,
current
my
living
father
wage
was born
is
in 1934. My mother was born in 1938, both in Vicksburg, Mississippi, in the
$92,096.30
middle of
in
the
Los
Jim Crow
Angeles
South.
County for
They
one
went
adult and one child. For me, that means a single mother
and that was felt in
raising
the
their
household
one
that I grew
child.
up in. My
That
parents
salary
were
does not
amongst the
include
Great
taxes
Migration
and
in the
health
late
benefits.
50s up to
And
the
the source
north.
for that
I grew
is
up
the
in
living wage
Illinois,
calculator of LA
and
County.
what I want to
Black-led CBO leaders are innovators and we are risk takers. We respond with community-led interventions, yet too many of us began as underfunded startups with underemployed staff. Reparations provide a financial investment of our business model above and beyond
documented evidence that we
the
deserve these
importance of
reparations.
community
So don't spend too much
listening
time
sessions
tasking
is to ensure that
examining
more
how to give
voices
this
like
money out.
ours
Know that
are
that money
included
is
in the
due my people.
reparations
I
discussion.
think it was what literally a year ago that I
Eligibility
think
was
those
voted
20
on,
Asian people
but
got
varies
attacked
upon
in
what
public.
you heard. And in the listening sessions, the task force has engaged economists. CBO leaders like myself can provide similar or more relevant expertise. And then finally, bringing greater awareness to the community provides input on reparations. My story as a CBO leader cannot look backwards to 1990.
They sure did. So we're still waiting. In 2009, the United Nations was calling for Black Americans to receive reparations. And guess who blocked that? Obama. He shut it down. He said, you're not going to intimidate and disrespect white people on my watch. Basically, essentially, that's what he was saying. So please, don't spend all this time task forcing and examining. The evidence is clear. The reparations is there. If you're interested, I'm currently touring Los Angeles with those PowerPoint presentations. If you're interested in those, please approach me and I can hook you up with the presentations to continue bringing awareness to these reparations and show the less fortunate of our people who they are. My last thing is, you don't have to give no money to no crackhead. You don't have to do that. You wouldn't do that anyway, so why would you do that? Then that's not an important point to bring out anyway. We have a lot of educated, powerful people. We have the means. The problem is that we're not together. We will not come together to do what we need to do the nation building within our people. And we should not be afraid to come together. We should be respectfully, unapologetically, all Black in what we do for our people. Thank you for this time.
Next speaker, please.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's so great to see so many Black folks in the space today. Thank you, Task Force, for the work that you do. My name is Casey Patterson. I'm the founder and chief architect of the Black Equity Collective. We are an ecosystem of 25 philanthropic partners and 52 Black-led and Black empowering organizations across Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties. Our mission is to join funders and communities to strengthen the long-term health and sustainability of Black-led organizations. We were one of the anchor organizations that hosted a community listening session. In May, we hosted over 60 Black nonprofit leaders across Southern California. Leaders who have not only experienced the harm of systemic racism personally and with their families, but who also work on the front lines in our communities, serving hundreds and collectively thousands of Black residents every year. We knew their perspective on reparations would include stories of personal harm and triumph, as well as harm they've experienced as employers, community advocates, and service providers. I'd like to submit a report documenting the top line findings and recommendations from our session, which I have with me and I'm happy to distribute. The information is also aggregated in the report that you're going to be receiving from the Bunch Center. Overall, we heard a wide-ranging account of experiences with structural and systemic racism, including maternal and infant mortality, pay inequity, racism in schools, barriers to philanthropic and public funding, housing discrimination, wealth deprivation, land theft, police terror, and the targeting and dismantling of the Black family unit. They've experienced these things because they're Black, whether their ancestors descended from stolen Africans who populated the American South or stolen Africans who immigrated from another colonized land. Racism has not separated them by lineage. As you can see or will see in our report, there were various perspectives on the eligibility question and nuance in how our community thinks it should be applied to different forms of reparations. There are still over 3 million Black Californians, and their voices deserve to be heard, considered, and respected before the question of eligibility was prematurely decided by this body. I want to implore this body and ask that moving forward, the task force make a stronger effort to solicit community input before making major decisions on any reparations framework. Our members were deeply moved by the opportunity to weigh in on this conversation and asked to stay engaged. This body has a responsibility to hear from those who have been silenced and erased, whose stories were never invited into the policymaking arena. For that reason and many others, this effort should include hiring and retaining a reputable communications firm to help promote your work, continuing to put significant resources toward community engagement and partnering with community-based organizations like ours to ensure that you're reaching the entire community.
We have to get to the next speaker. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Milagro Jones. I'm an undergraduate student at UCLA, and I transferred from Los Angeles Trade Technical College. So I want to shout out these professors that worked in the LACCD, because without people like them, I wouldn't be here today, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a single parent. I've been raising my daughter by myself since she was 5 months old. She's 8 years old now. And I just want to say that, you know, before I even start, I want to speak on people talking about crack kids getting money. My stepmama was a crack kid and she was still a Black woman. She deserves money just like anybody else deserves money. She's still a human being. But I just want to say that as a single parent here in Los Angeles, all of these people right now, I'm sure you have done something that has been helpful for me. You know what I'm saying? I think it's called 329 or 325 that stopped discriminating against Section 8. That got me into a home. So it's a lot of done, but at the same time, everywhere I go, I'm discriminated against for my daughter. When I walk down the street, the LAPD pull up and say, "Y'all look suspicious. Do you know this man?" The LA Sheriff Department brought me to my home, harassed me, sent an email to the neighborhood council. He got found guilty of this stuff. He's still working with Black people in the community. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere I go, whether it's LASA, the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, whether it's in my neighborhoods that I've lived in, no matter where I go, if it's in the good side of town, the bad side of town, Skid Row, I lived all over the city. It's always discrimination. Black people are treated like garbage in this country. Me and my daughter is stepped on and walked on everywhere we go, and there's nothing changing and getting better on a daily basis. I'm sick and tired of living like this.
Not talking about it anymore. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. We deserve respect. And I hope that we can do something to stop this situation of the noise that's outside. We're dealing with a serious matter. So we cannot go any further with this kind of an ambience over this August body. Well, go out there and ask them to be quiet.